What's happening, betters? In this video, I'm going to give you the best bets to be had this weekend in both rugby and boxing. So make sure and stick around as we do a deep dive into some of the key matchups for this weekend, both on the pitch and in the ring. Now, in terms of last week's results, I gave out Richardson Hitchens as our boxing best bet. I said in my analysis of that selection that I basically didn't see any path to victory for Kambosos in that one. But as high as I was on Hitchens, I did think it'd go some rounds. I thought Kambosos would make it the distance. So chalk up an L for me on that one as Hitchens, impressively managed to finish the show with a terrific shot downstairs. In terms of this weekend's fights, really not a whole lot to get excited about. It is a fairly quiet weekend in boxing. Decent card over in Birmingham in the United Kingdom on Saturday. I was looking at adding Conah Walker to my card on that schedule. I do expect them to beat Liam Taylor in their showdown. But at minus 260 right now, it is starting to get a little bit high. As I said, I firmly expect Walker to win that fight. But I was looking at that minus 260. I think it's fair enough. I would actually make it a bit higher personally, but it is getting to that level, I should say, where the value's getting a bit sucked out right now. The line has continued to rise. I bet that I like a little bit more, however, for this weekend, despite even heftier odds, is Jahi Tucker to beat Lorenzo Simpson over in Newark, New Jersey on Saturday. I think Tucker has come on leaps and bounds over the last couple of years, still only 22 years of age. And I was really impressed with his win over Troy Williamson last time out as well. So I do expect Tucker to get the job done here against Simpson this weekend. And to be honest, even at the current odds, going off right now at about minus 310 over a FanDuel, I'd make that much higher personally. I'd make it in the region of, minus 360, minus 370-ish, maybe even a little bit higher. So I believe we're getting decent value on that minus 310 right now. And I've already locked Jahi Tucker in personally. By the way, if you're enjoying our breakdown so far, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It's always very much appreciated. And let me know down in the comment section below what you're going to bet this weekend also. In terms of rugby for last weekend, we gave out the two-team parlay of Chicago and Utah in the Major League Rugby Conference semi-finals. I believe that was going off at minus 125. That delivered for us, thankfully. Chicago took care of Old Glory fairly convincingly in their semi-final. Well, Utah did likewise against Seattle, but made much harder work of it. Utah were routing them easily in the first half. They're up 17-0 at the break, but the Sea Wolves nearly did the unthinkable, coming back and almost winning that game before a couple of penalty goals laid on for Utah were enough to tip them over the line. For this weekend, I'm back on the Utah train. I'm not going to rate a whole pile into the last weekend's near second half collapse against Seattle. That was Utah's first ever playoff win, so you can imagine the kind of pressure they were under there to deliver. Nerves were frayed, no question, but I'm a huge fan of this Utah Warriors team this season. In terms of the data, it's just highly impressive stuff. Number one in total points scored, number one in tries scored, number one in tackles, number one in turnovers won, and that last one in particular, ahead of this weekend's Western Conference final matchup, that'll be key in this one. They face a Houston Sabercats team who have been, excellent themselves, but they've given up the fifth most turnovers out of any team in the league this year. So that is not something you want to be doing against this Utah team. They will punish you, especially now since they've got that playoff monkey off their back as well. So give me the Utah Warriors minus 3.5. Going off at minus 106 right now to win and cover against Houston on Saturday. Again, this is a game I've already locked in personally. And also lean to New England minus 5.5 over in the Eastern Conference final. But, I made the point a couple of weeks ago on this show that the Free Jacks lineouts, they do remain a concern for me. Remains an issue. So I decided just to leave them off my card. But nonetheless, I like Chicago last week, but not so much this week. I do expect New England to do the job and cover the number. So let's quickly recap today's selections on the show. We're going to take Jahi Tucker to beat Lorenzo Simpson over in Newark, New Jersey, minus 310 right now. And what is a slim weekend overall for boxing? But like I said previously, I would make that line much higher. So I bet that's already made my card. And in rugby, I've already locked in Utah minus 3.5 to beat Houston at home in their Western Conference Finals matchup in MLR. I've been on the Utah train pretty much all season long, so no reason to jump off now. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, giving the video a thumbs up. It helps us out a ton. And drop your own best bets in the comment section down below. Like I said, every week. Let's build up a bit of a a boxing and rugby community over here. So that'll do it from me anyway. I hope you guys enjoyed the content, and until next time, slán a bháile, and best of luck on all your bets.